everyone, welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi Chansam. Here are the headlines. Baloch hold anti-Pakistan demonstrations in European cities seek international intervention into enforced disappearances. Japan witnesses a surge in soybean consumption, a taste and nutrition enhancer. And Golden Temple lights up on birth anniversary of Sikh religious leader. Let's begin the show. India is set to roll out fourth vaccine in the country after Indian drug maker company Cipla got regulatory approval to distribute Moderna's vaccine. India inoculated around 357 million doses by Friday. The majority of the vaccines given in India are by locally manufactured Oxford AstraZeneca's Covishield and indigenously developed Covaxin. Russia's Sputnik V has been the latest entry and is set to produce hundreds of millions by the end of the year.
After Covishield, Covaxin and Sputnik V, India is ready to receive its fourth vaccine. American biotech company Moderna's vaccine, that was one amongst the two used by the states to inoculate its citizens, will be a part of India's massive vaccination campaign too. The Moderna vaccine has shown efficacy of approximately 94.1% in protecting against COVID-19. WHO says the immunity starts to develop after 14 days of the first dose. Indian drug maker Cipla Limited has received regulatory approval to distribute it, paving the way for import in coming days.
So, new drug permission has been granted to Moderna. This is the first internationally developed vaccine for which now such permission exists today. And as I said, this new drug permission for restricted use, which is the other name for emergency use authorization, is now in operation. And this potentially opens up a clear possibility, clear likelihood of this vaccine being imported into India.
In a major ramp-up to the vaccination drive, India, which has so far administered around 357 million doses of different vaccines, administered 61 million doses in the last 2 weeks. It was more than the number of people who signed up for shots during the period, indicating an improvement in supplies after widespread shortages. The government has been working to enhance the capacity of manufacturing and is also planning to import others to meet its objective of vaccinating all adults by the end of the year. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while appreciating the efforts of the doctor on National Doctors' Day, announced a credit guarantee scheme of $6.7 billion to strengthen the health infrastructure of the country.
अब हम ऐसे क्षेत्रों में हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को मजबूत करने के लिए 50,000 करोड़ रुपए की एक क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम लेकर आए हैं, जहां स्वास्थ्य सुविधाओं की कमी है.
India is treading carefully after the massive jolt it received in the second wave when thousands of them succumbed to the virus. And in a collective breakthrough, the country's caseload has come down to 500,000 from 3.5 million peak in mid-May. While some regions of northern India where the positivity rate has dropped under 1%, the restrictions have been eased. Others like Maharashtra and Kerala with little higher positivity rates are keeping the controls tighter. Tourism industry, which received a huge hit due to the pandemic, is slowly opening too, with the government allowing travelers and revelers to visit places under a strict COVID-compliant protocol.
Moving on, Baloch have intensified their anti-Pakistan movement as they are now holding rallies across the major global cities against state-backed enforced disappearances in the region. And now with COVID restrictions easing all around, they have pledged to escalate it further. Baloch accused that a Pakistan army-backed campaign has abducted and killed thousands of them in recent times for rightfully demanding independence from Pakistan, which had forcibly annexed the mineral-rich province in 1948.
Anti-Pakistan Baloch campaign is gathering traction and momentum as more people are joining in, taking to streets and demanding accountability into state-sponsored human rights violations. After London last week, a number of them gathered and demonstrated in different European cities against forceful disappearances by Pakistan. Unconditional release of political prisoners, including Dr. Deen Mohammed Baloch, who remains missing even after 12 years of his abduction, were the prime demands. Baloch leaders, most of whom are living in exile, say their prime motivation behind carrying out their events in the European and American countries is that their plights, which are not any lesser grave than other humanitarian crises across the world, have not yet found enough international attention and support.
There are thousands of Baloch students, doctors, lawyers who are still missing in Pakistani secret torture cells. But the problem is that the international community is silent, and Pakistani establishment, Pakistani intelligence agencies, Pakistani ISI, Pakistani MI are enjoying the impunity and the silence by the international community.
In a bid to get a better shot at their objective, a similar protest was held in the UN city of Geneva, where the Human Rights Council is located. As per data collated by different groups and organizations, including UNPO, Unrepresented Nations and People's Organization, and the Voice for Baloch Missing Persons, the Baloch disappearance issue is not a trivial political issue, but a grave humanitarian crisis. Anyone who is deemed resistant to Pakistan's nefarious designs in the region is picked. Subsequently, he is either imprisoned incommunicado or killed with impunity. Today, the region finds itself at the lowest in all performing indicators. Despite having the vast minerals and resources, the GDP of Balochistan is always hovering at the bottom. Pakistan has been plundering this region of its vast mineral and gas reserves for decades. But when people demanded freedom or even autonomy, or in some cases even a share, it resulted in the systematic annihilation.
Forces are taking the people and then there's a no whereabout of those people. Neither they are presented to any court of justice, nor their even family members. They do not know where are they and what they have done, for what they have been disappeared by force. And this is an activity which the Pakistani forces have been doing it from many years.
Activists also say that there has been a sharp rise in human rights violations in Balochistan since the launch of the multi-billion China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC. They say it has brought only death and destruction, contrary to the promises of economic opportunities, employment and prosperity. CPEC is a network of roads, railways and energy projects linking China's Xinjiang to Balochistan's Gwadar port. They accuse Pakistani security forces have been given a free hand to eliminate voices against the illegal project. The Chinese government has spent nearly $70 billion on the project, and experts say there are no chances it is reconsidering its ambitions. So, it is only the Baloch plight that is going to extend if international powers do not come to their rescue.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in our segment called Asia Watch.
A tiger park in Thailand's Phuket is preparing to open its doors to overseas tourists on July 1st as part of the country's reopening plan. The Phuket Sandbox initiative will allow free movement on the island for tourists fully vaccinated against COVID-19 with no self-isolation on arrival. They will be given a green light to travel elsewhere in Thailand after 14 days. The Tiger Kingdom Park has ensured that more than 90% of the staff are vaccinated against coronavirus ahead of the arrival of foreign tourists. The park, which has more than 50 tigers and cheetahs, used to welcome almost 1,000 visitors a day before the pandemic struck. Now, less than 20 people visit the park every day. The government hopes the scheme will draw 129,000 visitors to the country in the third quarter, a far cry from the average 3.3 million monthly arrivals to Thailand in 2019. Thailand lost about $50 billion in tourism revenue last year when foreign arrivals plunged 83% to 6.7 million from a record 39.9 million in 2019. Phuket was particularly hard hit by job losses and business closures. Malaysia will extend the current restrictive measures in a bid to slow the spread of COVID-19, state news agency Bernama reported, citing Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. Muhyiddin did not say how long the nationwide lockdown would be extended. He had previously stated that the restrictions would not be lifted until daily cases fell below 4,000, the occupancy rate of hospital ICU beds was less than 75%, and at least 10% of the population completed 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccination. A nationwide lockdown has been effective since June 1, which bans all economic and social activities except essential services and was supposed to last till June 14. The government on June 11 decided to extend the restrictive measures by another 2 weeks till June 28. Since June 1, the number of new cases of COVID-19 confirmed in a single day in Malaysia has dropped, but they are still above 5,000. Malaysia reported 5,803 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, bringing the total tally to 728,462 cases. Public transport services resumed in Nepal as coronavirus restrictions were eased in the country. Vehicles were allowed to operate as part of the unlocking process despite a warning about a third wave of the pandemic. Commuters flocked to bus stations to catch buses after the services resumed. The public buses with more than 25-seat capacity will be allowed to operate from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. All public transport were ordered to follow coronavirus protocols while carrying passengers. Nepal has reported 636,916 cases and deaths 9,071 so far.
Moving on. Good food and better health facilities are two essential aspects of our successful life. Today, we take you to Japan's capital city, Tokyo, where at one side soybean is a food and one of the central ingredients of Japanese cuisine. On the other side, shichimi, a multi-use chili mix enriching the taste of dishes in Japan. Have a look.
Soybean is a versatile food and one of the central ingredients of Japanese cuisine. It constitutes the basis of many distinctive Japanese flavors, such as soy sauce, miso, and tofu. Soybean is also processed into countless Japanese culinary products. This factory in Saitama, north of Tokyo, still uses the traditional method for making soy sauce that was inherited 220 years ago by the Fueke family. It aims to preserve the flavor and quality of their soy sauce through a special fermentation process.
お醤油の原料は伝統的な醸造方法では3つです。まず1つは大豆で、2つ目が小麦で、3つ目がお塩になってます。不液醤油は江戸時代から変わらない伝統的な醸造方法を守って、でもろみを昔からずっと使い続けている木の桶で約2年発酵熟成させて、それを絞ったものをお醤油に。
The complex biological interaction between the ingredients during fermentation needs to be managed carefully, and at the right time it gets the perfect rich flavor. It starts from steaming soybeans to decomposing wheat in a mold called koji, to heating raw soy sauce in the tank before being processed into bottles. But the key in this traditional process is the wooden fermentation barrel.
お醤油を作る上で一番大切なのはですね、やっぱり作り手の心、作り手の思いがとっても大切です。で、 この木の桶にいる微生物っていうのはやっぱり生き物でして、で自分の子供と同じように語りかけて、おいしいお醤油になってもらえるように言葉をかけながら丁寧に育てて。
Soy sauce appeared in East Asian cuisine more than 2,000 years ago, and now it is considered as the most important Japanese condiment and is used to flavor all types of Japanese dishes. There are countless varieties and regional soy sauces that vary in flavor and color. Some of the typical types of soy sauce are regular all-purpose soy sauce, like sesame soy sauce with lighter flavor and color, so as not to overpower the flavor of sesame. And there is even low-sodium soy sauce for the more health-conscious. Next, we take you to Tokyo City, where soba and udon are traditional Japanese noodle dishes are very popular in Japan. But their great flavor isn't complete without some sashimi on top of it. It is the Japanese multi-use chili mix seasoning that makes food more delicious by enhancing the flavor. It can be also used with pickled vegetables, miso soup, grilled meat and fish. Shichimi means 7 spices, and although the main component is hot pepper, it includes other ingredients that give an aromatic flavor and a beautiful smell in addition to the spicy taste. The story of shichimi started almost 400 years ago in the shop in Tokyo, where shichimi spices mixture were invented by Japanese merchant in the year 1625 to be used as a medicine that stimulates blood circulation to recover quickly after illness. But within few years of its production, it turned into spice that is added to food. It is now produced by many companies, and the original shop still keeps old tools that were used when shichimi vendors moved between city and town to grind and sell their mixture.
その時代は将軍、徳川の将軍がいたんですけれども、三代将軍の家光の頃にですね、菊の御縁の握りというものがありまして、そちらの方で献上したところ、ことのほか気に入っていただきて、大徳という今うちでいうとやげん彫りの上についている大徳の称号をいただきました。7種類を申し上げますと、黒ごま、みかんの皮、唐辛子が2種類入っておりまして、焼きの時間を長くした焼き粉、で唐辛子、本来のもので赤粉、そして山椒、ケシの実、麻の実と、この7種類で、構成されております。
Customers can buy the mixture in the same traditional package and also choose between 3 levels of chili strength in it.
ここのやつはあれだよね、匂いというか鼻に抜ける山椒の匂いがすごいよね。
山椒がすごくいい香りがします。
In 2013, UNESCO included traditional Japanese cuisine or washoku on the list of intangible cultural heritage. And with the spread of Japanese food around the world, the demand for Japanese shichimi spices, which is an indispensable for obtaining the original Japanese flavor, has become very popular as well.
Moving on, nothing brings people together in India like festivals do. People come together and celebrate every festival with much zeal and enthusiasm. This was seen during Prakash Parv, the birth anniversary of the Sikh spiritual leader Guru Har Gobind Singh, which was recently celebrated with great fervour despite the coronavirus. Let's have a look. A pool of Sikh devout visited the holiest shrine of Sikhism, Golden Temple, in India's Amritsar city to mark the auspicious occasion of Prakash Parv, the birth anniversary of the Sikh spiritual leader Guru Har Gobind. On this auspicious occasion, the Gurudwara was lit up with colourful lights and its skyline was illuminated with fireworks. The devotees thronged the holy shrine, lit oil lamps and performed special prayers while recollecting the teachings of Guru. It is believed that Guru Har Gobind played a key role in providing a new direction in religion of Sikhism.
ਅੱਜ ਬੜੇ ਚਿਰ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਮਸਤਕ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਟੋਰਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ। ਬੜੀ ਹੀ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ। ਆਤਿਸ਼ਬਾਜ਼ੀ ਦੀਪਮਾਲਾ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਆਪਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਆਨੰਦ ਲੈ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਨਮਸਤਕ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਇੱਥੇ, ਆਤਿਸ਼ਬਾਜ਼ੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਦੀਪਮਾਲਾ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਲੱਖਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰੋ। ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰੋ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Born in late 16th century at Guru Ki Wadali near Amritsar, Guru Har Gobind was the only son of the 5th Guru Arjan Dev, who was killed by Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Guru Har Gobind propagated the idea of learning Gatka, a form of martial arts and weaponry to fight oppression. The practitioners of Gatka also emphasized that this form should never be misused. Guru Har Gobind was the first Sikh Guru to engage in war and fought against the tyranny of Mughal Empire. He also created the Akal Takht, or seat of power at the Golden Temple. The number of devotees was relatively low due to the pandemic. However, the religious spirit was as high as ever.
आतिशबाजी चल रही है गुरु जी के घर, गुरु रामदास के घर आतिशबाजी चल रही, संगतां मना रही हैं। हाँ जी, बहुत वधिया इत्थे नज़ारा देखने को मिल रहा। गुरु महाराज दे कोरोना वर्गी महामारी चल रही है, तो फिर भी संगतां होम हमा के आईयां ने इत्थे महाराज दे दर्शन करने वास्ते गुरु रामदास के घर ते।
Despite having taught the community to resist and retaliate any aggression, Guru Har Gobind's teachings' essence have been peace and harmony. Devotees believe his teachings are the source of inspiration for all, and his principles of humanity, secularism, and universal brotherhood would continue to guide the humankind on the path of righteousness. It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.